Then you create the rules. Life is a journey, not a destination. There are no mistakes, just chances we take it. Lay down your regrets, cause all we have is Alexa, play Just Do You by India Ari. Hello, everybody. I'm here. Just a last minute snafu. Come on in, share the live. Like, share, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Come on in. This is Dr. Barbara Swinney, your life and leadership coach and coach trainer. Trying to get myself together. Hello. Come on in, everybody. This is Dr. Barbara Swinney, your life and leadership coach and coach trainer, founder and CEO of Deeper Women Lead Global. I help women in leadership heal, lead, and leverage their stories for legacy by writing a book, building a platform, starting a business, or even starting a movement. Come on in, like and share. Invite your friends. Go and grab your friends and get them in here. We're going to be talking about moving beyond the fear. For the last 6 days, we've been talking about how to break free so that you can reclaim the woman behind the story. We're going to continue with that same theme tonight, and we're going to be talking about 5 secrets to move beyond the fear. 5 secrets to move beyond the fear. Come on in, everybody. We are streaming on all platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. I think I'm going to have to move TikTok's camera. Let's see. So that you guys can see the demonstration that I like to keep up. Let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're from in the comments while we wait for everybody to get in here. Just do you. Just do you. Just do you. Just do you. Hey. Get your friends in here. We're getting ready to get started as soon as India finishes. Alexa off. So today we're going to be talking about 5 secrets to moving beyond the fear. 5 secrets to moving beyond the fear. I want you to type fearless in the comments if you want to feel fearless. If you've been waiting to feel fearless, type fearless in the comments. If you've been waiting to feel fearless. Let me see. If you've been waiting to feel fearless, I want you to type fearless in the comments. If you've been waiting to feel fearless, I want you to type fearless in the comment. We're going to be talking about how to overcome fear today. If you see me looking away, I have about 3 devices that I'm working on. All right, so for the last 5 days, we've been talking about, I'm going to do a quick recap. On day 1, we talked about you're not stuck. You're just attached to the wrong story. We also talked about you don't need more healing. You need to be repositioned and understanding when to move, when it's actually healing that you need and when it's actually movement that you need. We also talked about the importance of making a decision. You don't become that girl or that guy over time. You become that guy once you make the decision. You have to decide to be her and then start to line up your behavior to be the person that you want to be. And then you have to define. You cannot confront what you can't define. If you don't truly define who you are, you'll keep living from who you were. When that season has passed, you'll be trying to live your new life, or you'll be trying to live your old life inside of your new life because you have not renewed your mind and you haven't gotten to the bottom of who you truly are in your identity. And then yesterday was a special session. We basically just did a coaching session. People were able to just ask whatever questions they wanted to ask, and we did some real time coaching. Yesterday was very powerful. Also, the question or the notion of fear kept coming up yesterday. So I wanted to take some time to talk about the 5 ways that you can get over fear. Let me switch this so I can see who's in here. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining. You could have stopped by any live tonight, but you decided to stop by this one on this Friday night. I'm super excited to share this content with you, to let you know what we have going on with Deeper Women. Again, if you're new to me, I am Dr. Barbara Swinney. I'm a life and leadership coach and coach trainer. I'm the founder and CEO of Deeper Women Lead Global. I help women in leadership heal, lead, and leverage their stories for legacy by building a business, by creating a platform, by writing a book and becoming a published author, and by starting a movement all around their story. 10 years ago, hi, Diana, joining us from TikTok. You found us on TikTok. Awesome. 10 years ago, when I was going through divorce and demotion, I wrote my very first book, It's Always Deeper. Um, and I didn't want to just do a regular run of the mill book launch. I really wanted to start something special. So I invited 4 of my friends in leadership and had them to share their stories on the stage. And that was, ladies and gentlemen, the foundation, the catalyst for my entire business, Deeper Women Lead Global. So now what I do is I help other women use their stories, leverage everything that you think you lost, everything that you lost that you thought you needed. Leverage those things so you can build a platform, you can write a book, you can build a business, you can start a movement with your story. There's some lady or some woman out there waiting to ride the tails of your courage. So we want to get to the place where we can tell our stories freely so we can continue to heal from those stories as well as unlock somebody else's prison. Thank you so much for joining tonight, Diane. I'm so happy that you made it here over here on TikTok. So we're still waiting for some people to join from Facebook, but we're going to go ahead and jump in and get started. Tonight we're talking about moving beyond the fear. 5 ways to move beyond the fear. Because the truth is, I think some of us really use fear as an excuse, but the problem is fear is not the problem. You don't need less fear, you need a strategy to move forward with it. And those are some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. You need a strategy to move forward with the fear. God said he didn't give us the spirit of fear, but he never told us we wouldn't feel it. He never told us we wouldn't feel afraid, but he does want us to know how to move beyond it. So here are the 5 ways to move through and beyond the fear. You're not going to eliminate fear. You're always going to have that little thing that comes up in you when it's time to do something that you feel is hard. But we're going to knock away some of those things tonight. We're going to knock down some of those things tonight so that you can understand and realize that you're much bigger than the thing that you're afraid of. And I know some of you have been with me for the past 5 days and you've seen this demonstration. This at the very top is your conscious mind. And this is where we take our thoughts captive. This is where we bind up all of those things that are telling us what we can't do. And then we tell them what they can do. This is where it happens in your conscious mind. We are engaging in what God has given us already to do. Okay? So, the very first way um, to get beyond fear is, a lot of times women will say, I'm scared. People say, I'm just scared. I'm just afraid to go live. I'm afraid to write the book. I'm afraid to complete the application. I'm afraid of whatever that thing is. But when they're asked, scared of what? What are you actually afraid of? Then they go quiet. You can see them thinking about the thing that they're afraid of, but they're not really sure. And it's important, the first way to move beyond fear, it's important for us to name the thing that we think we're afraid of. Name what you're afraid of. Make sure you're following me. If you're on TikTok or any of the other platforms, make sure you're following me. If you're on TikTok, some of you may not know this, go up to the top and tap that little heart at the top and get your daily heart meets at the top. If you name the thing, it removes or takes away some of the power. So anytime you feel that bubbling up, that vibration, that anxiety or whatever that comes up in you, because you can feel it in your body, you want to make sure you ask yourself, okay, I feel scared, I feel afraid, but afraid of what? What is the fear around? Fear of failure? Is it fear of judgment? You think people are going to judge you? Fear of visibility? Oh my gosh, I'm going to be out there. Sometimes it's even fear of accountability. Oh my goodness, they know that I'm doing this thing, so now they're going to be expecting it from me. Fear of success. Sometimes we don't achieve things because we're just afraid of not being able to handle the success of it. I want you to type one word in the comment. One word. What you won't name, you can't confront. What is one word that describes something that you're afraid of? Yeah, that describes something that you're afraid of, or what are you in fear of right now? Type it in the comments. What are you in fear of? What's the one thing you're afraid of right now? Because remember, the very first thing is for us to name the thing that we are afraid of. When you name it, you take the power away from it. Okay. Oh, Mr. Krebs. Thank you so much, Mr. Krebs. Good to see you here. I appreciate you stopping by. Who else is in here? Let's see. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. That's right. All right. Way number 2. So the first way to move beyond the fear is name the fear. Thank you so much, Mr. Krebs. Thank you so much. Thank you for the roses. Thank you very much. The very first way was to name the thing that you're afraid of. Don't just let it sit there. Name it. When you name it, you take the power away from it. The second way is to separate the fact from the story. Wow, Mr. Chris, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the roses. Diana says she's afraid of visibility. It's the attention that I don't really like. And we're going to work to get to the bottom of that, because I would even venture to say it's deeper than that. I think it might be deeper than that. Thank you, Mr. Kretz. I appreciate you for the roses. It says Mr. Kretz became the new title gifter of of Rose. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So for number 2, and Diane, we're going to deal with that in just a minute. Diane says she's afraid of visibility, afraid to be seen. We're going to talk about that. Diane has been in some of the other classes, so she knows um, some of the things that we're going to talk about, because one of them is movement. But number 2, separate fact from the story. Fear is rarely about facts. I told you guys the dream that I had the other night, and my revelation was that fear really is an illusion. It's about the story you're telling yourself. It's not necessarily the thing that you're facing, it's the story that you're telling yourself. Um, you might be saying, instead of, accepting the fact that I've never done this before, I've never gone live on TikTok before, you might interpret that as I'm not capable. Look at Mr. Chris encouraging everybody. That's right. I think Diana can do it. Yes, I think she can do it too. You have to separate the fact from the story that you're actually telling yourself. Before I wrote my dissertation for my doctoral degree, the fact wasn't that I was not capable. The fact was I had never written a dissertation before. When I started my business, I didn't say to myself, I'm not capable of starting a business. The fact was I had never done it before. So even Diana, as you're looking at visibility, the story may be, I don't want to be seen. Not that I'm not worth being seen. So you have to separate the thing that you're telling yourself from what's actually true. What is the real truth of it? Your fear is not telling you the truth. It's telling you the story. It's telling you a version of it. It's there's a little bit of it in there, but it's not all the way true. The fact or the story is starting to tell you something different. Is this making sense? Does this make sense to y'all? You have the truth, and then you have the fact. You have the story, I'm sorry, and then you have the facts. The fact is you're capable. You just haven't done it before. All right, way number 1 was what? Way number 1 was name the fear. Way number 2 was separate the fact from the story. Way number 3, remember success leaves clues. So for whatever the thing that you're facing and you're afraid to face, look around your life to see where you've done hard things before. Where have you done hard things before? Thank you, Mr. Kretz. He said, perfect sense. I absolutely love it. Thank you, and believe it. Where in your life have you done hard things before? Fear says you can't do it, but your life says, I already have. Fear says you can't write the book, but you had to write a thesis in college. Fear tells you you can't, but when you look across your life, I'm sure there is time after time after time where you have been successful. I want you to type in the comment one success that you've had across your life. One success that you've had across your life. Right now, we're talking about your evidence. Use the evidence of your life. Because fear will tell you one thing, but your life is actually telling you something different. What's one thing you've been successful with? What's some evidence that you can actually do it? You've already done some things that proves you can handle more. Educating young minds, and a lot of them. Educating young minds. I know that Diana's a teacher, and she's a retired teacher at that. Well, she's still teaching, but she's taught for more than 30 years. So that's tons of minds that she's been successful at molding. But that came so easily. You can apply that same thing that you just said, Diana, to the thing that you are looking to do. It's not that you're not capable, it's just that you haven't done it yet. It's not that you can't do it, it's just that you haven't done it yet. Everything has a first time to get done. But remember, your victories are your receipts. That's how you know you can do it. That's how you know you can get through it, because you've done hard things before. All right, the fourth one, let me keep up with my time. The fourth one is take small, immediate steps. What is it right now that you can do to get towards that next goal? If you want to lose 100 pounds, you don't start with a 100-pound goal. I would venture to say you don't even start with weight as a goal. How about, what are the steps? What can I do right now? Can I change my next meal? Can I go to the gym tonight? What's your next best step to get towards your goal? Because you want to take a small step, a small immediate step. That could be simply writing it down, because you might have all of these things in your head about what you want to do, which could also bring on the fear because you're not in motion. At least writing it down puts it in motion. What's one small thing you can do to start moving towards your goal? You don't need a big old leap. You just need the next step. It really could be entertaining the idea. It could be, I've had this idea in my head. Remember, we talked about why, and you're in reasoning. It could be opening the door for why to come in and have a seat. And when why comes in to have a seat, that's when you start asking yourself, well, what would it look like if I actually had the thing that I was going after? What would it look like if I actually lost the weight? So now you are allowing that why idea, that idea that was outside of your head, outside of what you're used to doing, you are allowing that to come in and commune with your conscious mind and take a seat so you can think about what you would like to do next. Okay, make sense? Can you post a video? For those of you who are starting a business, visibility is going to be key. Visibility is key. Can you post the video? Can you have the conversation? Can you sign up for a class? Can you start writing? Movement disrupts fear. When you start moving on something, and remember the other night we said, you don't get confidence and then start moving. You move and the confidence will meet you there. That's just like with fear. You don't stop feeling afraid while you're sitting there with holding all of the stuff in your body. Once you start moving, then you're learning to lead through fear. So post the video, have the conversation, sign up, start writing, even if it's in your journal, so you can make those movements that disrupt fear. I want you to drop one thing that you can do tonight to start moving beyond fear. One thing that you can do tonight and start moving beyond fear. One thing you can do tonight to start moving beyond fear. All right, we're on number 5, and we'll come back to the one thing that you can do tonight. Now, you're going to have to tell me how to say this. Trusted. What is SAB, Trader for Life? Tell me what that is, because you've been in here before, and I want to be able to acknowledge you, but I just want to know how to say it. What am I saying? How to say your handle? Thank you so much for coming in, though. I want you to drop one thing in the comment that you can do tonight to start moving towards your goal and getting beyond this fear, because movement disrupts fear. Hi, Demetria. I think I see Demetria. Thank you, Brooke, for liking the live. I think I see Demetria, but I'm not sure. One thing that you can do. Fear says, stay where you are. All right. If you just joined on Facebook, type your name in so that I can see. Because we're streaming on multiple platforms, it's hard to see the comments from Facebook. So type in so I can see who you are. If you are new, I'm Dr. Barbara Swinney. I'm a life and leadership coach and coach trainer. I am the founder and CEO of Deeper Women Lead Global. I help women in leadership heal, lead, and leverage their stories for legacy through building a platform, a business, writing a book, establishing more income, leaving a legacy. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. We are talking about the 5 secrets to move through fear. And we're on number 5, and that is decide who you're going to be. You don't overcome fear with logic. You overcome it with identity. I also wrote down tonight, and I'll share with you a couple of scriptures. It's more than just, scriptures are more than just affirmation. It's a way that we transform our minds and get the right stuff in there, taking those thoughts captive, controlling those things that are telling us the things that are opposite from what we know God wants for us. So the fear says, stay where you are. Identity says, this is who I am now. You can stay overweight, or you can say, I'm the girl who works out, I go to the gym, I eat right. That's who I am at the identity level. Because your identity is constructed by all of these things that we take in every day, all of our thoughts, our values, everything is feeding us what to believe. Because all of that, because our identity is constructed, we can reconstruct it based on new values, based on new understanding, based on new awareness. So instead of saying, this is where you are, or stay where you are because that's what fear will have you to do, you ask the question or say to yourself, this is who I am now. And again, it starts with the decision. This is who I am now. Remember, you don't become that girl over time. You become that girl with a decision. Decide who you want to be, regardless of what your story is. Who were you developing as you were going through the struggles or the trials or the story? Okay? When your identity is clear, fear loses its authority. When you know who you are, fear loses its authority because you recognize that you have authority over the thing that you're afraid of. Somebody said in the live last night, they said they had started a whole business, but they were afraid to promote it, they were afraid to go live to promote it. Sometimes we are overthinking about ourselves instead of considering that God has put this stuff in us to affect people. It's because somebody needs something that's inside you. They're not coming for you. I know it looks like they're coming for you, but they're not coming for you. They're coming for what's inside of you. So the moment we shift our thoughts to what is it that people need from me, these gifts were not put in me for me, but instead they were put in me to be manifested in the earth, then things will shift for you. What is it that Diane needs that Barbara has? What is it that Demetria needs that Barbara has? What is it that Brooke needs that Barbara has? That's how you have to start thinking about it. Because the moment you shift your attention to what other people need, when you have a service mentality, because remember, Jesus was master and servant. He met the people where they were, as well as led them to where they needed to be. So if we're made in his image, we should act a little like him, right? There should be something about us that's like him. Thank you so much for jumping in. We've got a we're getting close to the end now. It's 7:32. I keep saying 30 minutes. So there are five secrets to move through fear. The first one was name it. The second one was separate the fact from the story. What have you been telling yourself? Number three, use your evidence. Look around your life to see in what other areas have you been successful. It's not that you can't do it, it's just you haven't done it yet. This is your first time doing it. Number four is take the first next step. Don't try to lose 100 pounds. How about we go for one? How about we change the next meal? How about we go to the gym? What are some small steps that you can take in order to get there? And then number five, decide who you want to be. Do you want to be the girl that gets it done? Or do you want to be the girl who doesn't get anything done? The girl who never finishes. So you have to decide who is it that you want to be. All right, when we're looking at these five secrets to move beyond fear, name it, separate the story from the fact, use the evidence in your life. Where are some other areas where you've been successful? Take the first next step and decide which of these do you feel like you can walk away with tonight? Which of these resonate with you the most? Name it, separate the story from the fact, use other areas of your life as evidence, take the next step, or decide. Which will you do tonight when we get off this live? If you are dealing with fear, those are the five secrets that you can use to move you beyond the fear. All right, this is day 6 of our 15-day live series, Heal, Lead, Leverage. I'm Dr. Barbara Swinney. I'm a life and leadership coach and coach trainer. I'm the founder and CEO of Deeper Women Lead Global, and I use my Deeper framework to help women heal, lead, and leverage their stories to build a platform, to build a business, to write a book. We have an authorship program, as well as leave a legacy. That's what we'll be doing April 14th, 15th, and 16th at our Leverage What You Lost, Reclaiming the Woman Behind the Story. It's a 3-day intensive. We will spend 3 nights working through this entire process. We're helping you to get clarity. We're helping you to get confidence, reposition your identity, building confidence through action. So you'll walk away with an action plan for the thing that you want to do next, for the thing that's going to get you to your next level. We're going to hold your hand through that process so you can begin leveraging your story for the next level. So if you go ahead and in recognition of Easter on Sunday, what we've done is we are offering a special. If you go to deeperwomenleagueglobal.org/events, we're offering a $50 off. If you type in the code RISEN, you'll get a 50%, not 50%, a $50 discount. Go to deeperwomenleagueglobal.org/events. Coupon code is RISEN in honor of Easter on Sunday. All right, so are there any questions? We are beyond our time. It is 7:36. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, I'm Dr. Barbara Swinney. Go and follow me on all of the major social media platforms at Dr. Barbara Swinney. And we are streaming on all platforms tonight. So if you're on YouTube, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and set your notifications. We'll be back. We won't be back tomorrow night and Sunday. We'll be back on Monday at 7 o'clock. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Bye-bye. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye. Make sure you go and sign up for the 3-day intensive. You don't want to miss this. It's going to be an intimate setting. We'll be on Zoom. We'll be able to talk. We'll do some hot seat coaching, some real-time coaching. That's deeperwomenleagueglobal.org/events. Type in Risen for the $50 discount. It's limited. That ends on Sunday night. So that's not going to be out there the whole time. So you want to go ahead and make sure you get that taken care of tonight or by the end of the night on Sunday. Thank you so much for joining. You're welcome, Diane. Thank you. Bye-bye.